The Fringe Podcast, Season 4, Episode 50.
Hi, my name is Josh Jackson. You're listening to the Fringe Podcast.
Welcome back to the Fringe Podcast, a podcast dedicated to the Fox television show
The Finder.
Bum, bum.
Bum, bum, ba-dow. The Finder was the intro show to Fringe this season.
For part of the season,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, it certainly was. It wasn't originally. That was another show that they moved around a little bit. I watched an episode or two. It was okay. It was a spinoff from Bones. It was okay. It was fine. I didn't have anything against it.
Was it a spinoff from Bones?
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
It sure was. But it did not last. It got one and done, just like Alcatraz that we mentioned in the last podcast.
Double bum up ba-dow.
But fortunately, we are here to talk about our favorite show, Fringe, which is guaranteed to get 5 seasons, and we couldn't be more happy about that. We're here taking your feedback. This is part 1 of feedback. We're still going to be doing another feedback podcast. Today, we are recording this on Sunday, May the 13th, 2012. So if you want to get your feedback in, you still have things to say about the episode, don't worry. Or if you didn't hear your feedback in this podcast or don't hear it, you may end up in the next podcast. So the deadline for the next feedback podcast is going to be May 19th. May 19th, or May, just to make it consistent, May 20th at noon. Sunday at noon is always the cutoff. So May 20th at noon is going to be the cutoff, noon Eastern time. So you still have time because we get so much for these season finales. We've kind of made it a tradition where we do 2 feedback episodes for the finale. So we're here today to do the first feedback episode for the finale. Episode 450 of the Fringe Podcast. That's kind of cool. We got 50 episodes in this season.
50. We should celebrate, Darrell.
I think we did 51 last season, but I'm pretty sure that includes like our Comic-Con podcast that we did. And it seems like we did more interviews last season. But
We did?
I don't know how we ended up with more episodes this season.
Magic. We're magical.
Maybe it's because I skipped the whole 20s. I didn't do any in the 20s.
I think these extra bananas that I'm eating have powered me through to extra podcasts.
Maybe that's it. But at any rate, we are going to see what you guys had to say this week. We want to say thank you to everyone who sent in feedback for this episode. So why don't we get things started here with Bunsen Burners?
Bunsen Burners. All right. To start things off, we've got Langley showing up in the chat room as Langley1 with 9.9 belly rings. Now, you still have yours, Darrell, don't you, that you got put in the 90s?
The thing with my belly ring is I've gotten so fat since then, I couldn't get it out now if I tried. It's like those trees. If you put something like around a little sapling tree, it becomes part of the tree. That's what my belly ring is now. I've gotten so fat, it's just part of me.
That's pretty disgusting.
You asked for it. Flip the Script gave it 9.5. Walter's fingers across Peter's face. Lemon Jello, please.
Alternates Do gave it 10 Walter slapping edibles.
Nice. Aggie Fringy gave it 9.987. My mind was blown when Olivia's was blown. Nice.
Maureen Paolina gave it 10 Super Ninja Olivias.
That's good. Bad Wobot gave it 10 for Fringe on a mind-blowing binge.
That's right. Ebony Jet 7 gave it 10 Lemon Jello shots.
Brian...
Hard to see, isn't it?
Yeah. Brian Ullum gave it 10 vibrating, vanishing bellies.
Ullum, my precious. Post recap Paw gave it 9.5. The needs of the bishops outweighed the needs of the bell.
Zoe from Alaska gave it a very precise rating, 10.93465. My mind was blown as Olivia's, and my heart was fluttering like Astrid's.
Galternate gave this episode 10 OMG. What's happening with her eyes? I hope it's CGI.
All right. Zcam, Zcam gave it 9.99 cups of lemon jello.
David Wu gave it 10.0. It worked indeed.
Password gave it 10 best episode ever.
Wow. Denef gave it 9 O batteries. Just one O battery will empower the entire universe.
Like an Olivia battery, I'm presuming.
O'Reilly. Universe parts.
Dharma Lady gave it 10 amens for season 5. Can't wait.
That's right. My name is Earl. Gave the episode 10. Do they have that holographic projector at the Sharper Image? I got to get me one of those.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. Dirac6955 gave it 10 observant observers.
Fleet Alex gave it 10 out of 10 perfect endings.
Witzker gave it 9.5 time faster than an observer.
Vilma gave it 10 blasphemous bells. Someone needs to tell him there's only one I am.
Nice. Jarhead gave it 10 bells and all is well.
Billy Bob gave it 9.5 sobering slaps to silence the sobbing son.
Nice.
Say that 10 times fast.
I'm glad you got that one and not me. Penny, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Penny, please forgive me.
oh my goodness.
Penny gave it 10 Cortexa buns in the oven. That's great.
I like that.
Yeah.
Security Nerdette gave it 9.99 Jedi mind tricks.
Laura HT Dot gave it 9. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell.
We're not going to get the song? Okay.
You do it.
No, let's move on.
No. I know she intended it to be sung.
Okay. Carla gave it 9.5 times 3 mostly dead female characters. Is that even possible? You can't do times 3.
Cortex A fan gave it 10 dishes of, oh, that isn't lemon jello. No, thank you.
The Unibeefer gave it 9.5 observer piercing bullets.
Melchizedek gave it 9.75 models of a modern major general.
Solus gave it 10 bishops healing olive.
Sci-Fi Fan 30 gave it 10 proud Papa Peters.
One mad scientist gave it 9.5 gross googly. One mad scientist gave it 9.5 gross bingy eyeballs. That's supposed to be googly. I'm sorry.
You got your Google and your Bing mixed up.
That's right. Sorry.
Thorentos gave it 9.5 urine-flavored Jello shots.
Charlie from Virginia gave it 10 out of 10 General Noahs.
Linda is Lost gave it 10 Mr. X-It wounds. Mr. X-It wounds? Nice.
Yeah, because Walter was Mr. X. And
Bell was Mr. X.
Kaiser S gave it 9.5 shots to the head.
That was a weak. That was like a half.
I got halfway through the thing and realized that I could sing it. Yeah. Should I start over?
I didn't sing mine. It's up to you if you want to be better than me or not.
I do want to be better than you. Kaiser S gave it 9.5 shots to the head. And Walter's to blame. He gave Mr. X a bad name.
Pow! That might be that might just be the song that David would put to music.
Oh, really?
That we'll hear in our Feedback Part 2 podcast. Let's see. Where were we? Seriously, where were we?
Scaper is where you're at.
Okay. Scaper gave it 10 revived and pregnant Olivias.
Skamikaze gave it 10 penny nails to the head from Nina's awesome nail gun. That may leave a mark.
That might.
Ka-chunk.
Yogabon
Ka-chunk.
gave it 10 rusted blue bicycles left in the rain. Ding, ding, ding.
That was creepy, wasn't it?
That was so creepy.
The whole thing was really creepy.
Yes.
Zeppelin Driver gave it 9.9 bullets don't kill people unless they're thrown.
Walter in Jacksonville gave it 10 Genesis projects foiled.
Oh, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you did there. Speaking of which, Darrell, have you seen Star Trek 2 yet?
The Wrath of Khan?
Yes.
Negative. I think I should probably watch it before I see the next JJ variety.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah.
Did you read the article this week on Benedict Cumberbatch?
I didn't. I missed that somehow.
And whether or not he's playing Khan or not.
He's playing Khan.
They said no.
What?
That's what they said.
I think he is.
All right, we got to get back to Fringe.
All right.
Jenny from Ohio gave it 9.0 freaky eye rolls. You know, if my wife rolled her eyes every time I talked like that,
yeah,
that'd probably make a bigger difference. Normally, she just rolls her eyes anytime I say anything.
Oh,
in a sweet and loving way, of course.
I try not to look at my wife in the eye when I talk to her.
You better not look at me when I talk to you. Look down.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not true.
The Deathly Hallows gave it 11 out of 10. They are coming.
I know it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama Fringe gave it 9.0. Hey, Mom, tell me again about when you were shot in the head by Grandpa.
That's a good one. Bodis Scottis gave it 10. Guns don't kill people. I kill people with guns.
I like that.
That is good.
Geneticist gave it 9. Grandpa shot my mom with this bullet that I use as an accessory.
Blue Eagle gave it 9.99. Red Vines with a urine chaser.
Yuck. Jively gave it 9.5. She was only mostly dead. You like that?
Liar! The Lost Passenger gave it 8.5. Really lame cliffhangers. I think he agreed with you, Clint.
Yes. 10. And still gave it an 8.5.
Yeah.
Lucy gave it 10 lemon jello shots, please. On second thought.
Lisa, too, gave it 10 creepy eye-opening twisting letter openers upstaged by friends sharing red vines and smiles.
Wow. That was a big one. Raven Mist gave it 10 bullet wounds to the head takebacks.
Nick Lapelli gave it 8 exit wounds.
Jassy Kins gave it 10 evil Spocks.
And finally, Lieb gave it 10 out of 10. Walter and September, the Watchman on the Wall.
Very cool.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody for sending in your Bunsen burners this week. We really appreciate it. And we are excited about your feedback, too. So let's get into it. Alrighty. Boy, we got a lot of feedback in. As I've mentioned, we've got it stacking up already for the next episode. So let's get right into it today, kicking it off with Angela.
Hi, this is Angela from Houston. I'm calling for the Fringe Podcast. Hi, Clint and Darrell. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to everybody and Happy Banana Day, Darrell. Sorry about that. I just wanted to call and leave feedback for the, season finale of Fringe. I really liked it in some ways. I really did. I love Fringe, so I was going to find something redeemable about it. But the one thing that bothered me about it was Belle's reason for wanting to destroy everything. I thought that I'll go to the Observer, when he was trapped on that rune, and he said that he was surprised that they knew how to do that, I thought that Belle would be wanting to end everything because he had seen what the world would become if the Observers took over. But when he said that his reason had to do with Walter's despair and then his finally getting cancer, it made the story seem a little thin. Like, wow, you've been basically, for the past couple of years, killing people, destroying people's lives, all for the sake of just starting all over again with animals. And it just, I don't know, it made the whole story seem like, really? I was expecting a bigger oomph there. One thing, is it Rebecca Mader? I'm not sure what her name is. But the one that was actually working with Belle, that was some of the freakiest eye stuff they were doing with her when they were trying to get her to speak after she had died. That was really spooky. It was really great. My hat's off to whoever did that. But that was the other thing that seemed kind of odd to me, because Belle had somehow gotten her and Jones and several others to pledge their undying loyalty to him, but yet there was no payoff. Now, okay, he was probably lying to them, but it just, I don't know, the whole thing kind of left me feeling flat. And maybe because of letters of transit we've seen so far into the future, I was just expecting a bigger end. I will watch it till the end and love it to the end, but I was just expecting a bit more. And I wanted to say, you guys, your podcast has been one of the reasons I've kept watching Fringe. You do an outstanding job podcasting like nobody else. It's so organized and detailed, and then there's the singing. So anyway, bye from hot and sunny Houston. May the Fringe be with you.
And also with you.
I'm not sure if she was complimenting her singing or not. She was like,
she said, and then they're singing.
It's so, detailed or thorough and organized. Whatever she said, and then there's the singing.
And then there's the singing.
I'll let you take that however you want.
Well, thank you for your feedback. I don't know. I got nothing.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is I can certainly understand where she's coming from as far as Belle's reasoning. It turns out he was just completely stark raving mad.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen the tie-in where he wanted to destroy the world so that the impending doom wouldn't happen. It's the same reason why Peter wanted to save the universes. That would have been a much cleaner ending. That being said, they couldn't really do that without knowing that they had a season 5, right? Because I don't think you want to throw that out there. Because if Olivia saves the universe, and we've already had letters of transit, all we're left with is this knowing that our world is going to be destroyed by the observers in the future. Whereas now, we know that the observers are still going to destroy it. So I guess it doesn't make a whole lot of difference, does it?
I certainly understand where she's coming from in that we were kind of hoping that Jones and Belle, Jones until we learned it was actually Belle, really knew more than we did. And we're actually...
Well, I think this episode was confirmation that he did. Right?
But he wasn't doing it to save the world. He was doing it to save his own skin, to satisfy his own God complex.
The ultimate ends, but we do know that he did know more about the observers than he let on.
Sure, because he had the
stasis rune. So, who knows? Do you think he was just feeding Walter a bunch of lies?
I don't know what the point of it would have been.
So that he could live to fight another day?
I mean, maybe he knows it's coming, and his answer to that is his own little world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even care anymore. I'm just going to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess it doesn't affect him at all, right?
Yeah.
If he's got cancer.
Yeah. He's like, all I need is this Porky Bat man.
That's all I need. Hey, we brought it in.
That's right.
5th week in a row.
That's right.
All I need is the air that I breathe and to create a new universe without any people in it. No.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Angela, we don't have a whole lot of answers for you. I'm going to respond to you like I did Clint in the last podcast, and that is, I didn't necessarily share that viewpoint. I think it's a valid viewpoint, so I'm certainly not going to invalidate it.
You can't.
And I would certainly say that I would, if I were to take issue with the episode, I would take issue with what you said before I would with what Clint had to say in the last episode.
Well, and that was part of it for me.
Yeah.
Same thing. So I would have to agree with her.
Okay.
And say, yeah. And also, what about this?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on and hear what Amanda had to say.
All right.
Hi, you guys. This is Amanda. I am calling from the D.C. area for the Fringe Podcast. I am new, and I've been in this chat room a few times, and my screen name was Aggie Fringy. I'm not sure if this was ever brought up. I only have been listening to just several of your podcasts. I'm still trying to catch up. But I'm rewatching the finale, and it really occurred to me that September could possibly be that boy that we were introduced in the very beginning of Fringe. And if so, then he has that special connection with Olivia, and it really, makes me question about their relationship and how far would September go to save Olivia, and if he is possibly trying to change timelines just to save her. I know that's pretty far out, but I do believe that September was that little boy, especially since, their time is different than our time, and it doesn't really, all those rules that apply to us don't necessarily apply to them. Anyway, just thought I'd throw it out there. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right.
I like that theory. That's a great theory.
Yeah, it's interesting, Amanda. Thanks for calling that in. In order for that to happen, I suppose the observers would not only be able to travel in and out of time, which we definitely have confirmation on that, but be in multiple timelines at the same time. You could travel back in time and speak to yourself or see yourself.
Sure, why not?
The reason I say that is because remember in that scene when he's driving, the boy is driving off in the cop car, September's walking down the sidewalk, and they share a moment, a glance at each other.
A moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had a connection. It looked like they really kind of had a mental connection in that brief moment.
Very similar to, if you remember when we did our time travel movies, the scene in 12 Monkeys, where Bruce Willis's character, and I can't remember his name, plays it over and over again in his mind at the airport where he sees this man as a boy.
Right. Yes.
I mean, it's a very similar scene, right?
Yeah, that's a great example, another example of that. Yeah. So it's possible. I think people have asked him about the boy from time to time, and they seem to always indicate that they hope to get back around to that.
This seems like a great season to do it.
Yeah. So I'm, now that you know how you're going to wrap it up, hopefully we'll get an answer to that. It looked to me, you remember the first season episode we had this season? It was either number 1 or number 2. I think it was number 1. There was a couple of observers watching a crime scene, and Olivia walked right past them. She had no idea who they were.
Right.
One of those, kind of the taller, skinnier one, reminded me of what that kid would look like when he was an adult.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get an answer at some point.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to Chip.
Clint and Darrell and Clint. It's Chip calling from Sunny Pond Mill Shores, North Carolina. Oh my God, what a kick watermelon episode this was. You're going to get a zillion calls out of this. I know it. Hope you can get me in here. This thing had it all. Unbelievable. The character, the action, we had romance, unexpected twists, and special guest Anna Torv as Magneto. The top stuff for me in this one, Astrid's alive. I'm glad they dealt with that early so we could get on to the action. Madman Bell, just crazy man. Totally crazy. Charlotte/Jessica, she's a bad girl, and she pays. Olivia really should be either an Avenger or she should be in the Justice League. She's phenomenal in this episode. The creepy shout-out to the previous season where they revived the person. Now they revived Jessica, and she's got the crazy eyes. It's like, ew, couldn't hardly look at the screen. How about Olivia and Peter's leap of faith literally from that helicopter? That was incredible. And then Walter doing the exact alternate shot from the other future. That was just heart-stopping. The tears were flowing there until Olivia finally came back. That was just awesome. I was worried they were going to pull the rug out there right at the end when she was in the hospital, but yay, happy ending. So a couple of quotes that I loved. First, William Bell, you play at being God, I am. Walter, of course, with I'm peckish, not thirsty. And, of course, Olivia, or Astrid, you called me by my real name. And then finally, we had the two, Olivia, I'm pregnant, and the observer, we have to tell them. It was tremendous action, tremendous acting, script, direction. Our faith in this season has been rewarded. It couldn't have been better, in my opinion. And I got my happy ending. It would have been a really satisfying series, and I think, but I'm so glad we get one more season. So one request for you guys, Jay and Jack from the Lost Podcast put together a finale event where we all got to go and be together and watch this series finale for Lost. That was season 6, Clint, not season 5. And that would be awesome if you guys could do something like that, even if it's in Oklahoma. I think you'd get a lot of folks for it. And hopefully one more happy ending for season 5. Thanks for everything you've done. It's been a great season. Look forward to good stuff over the summer and one more fun-filled time with the Fringe Podcast. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Chip. Even if it's in Oklahoma, what is that supposed to mean?
Some people might show up, even if it's in Oklahoma.
Even if it's in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't think we're as cool as California?
Apparently not.
Yeah. Just ask the Lakers how cool we are.
Yeah. They're probably in town right now. We're playing them tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if Meta World Peace can actually live up to his name this time. You know what? I'm so glad he mentioned a lot of the things we'd already talked about in the last podcast, but one thing he mentioned was that Walter got Astrid's name right this time. And again, thinking about it as a series finale,
right?
That would have been really nice to say.
Yes.
He finally intentionally looked her in the eye and said, "I know. I'm guilty of calling you the wrong name a lot of times. You're Astrid. I recognize that." That was a cool little scene. I liked that.
That was great. And I'm really glad that there are people that really enjoyed this episode. There was so much to love about this episode. I mean, and Chip did a really good job of kind of running through the laundry list. But of course, getting Leonard Nimoy back as William Bell and just having him completely bat crazy.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. Like you said last podcast, got really great acting all the way around. Mm-hmm. Finally got to see some real awesome superpowers from Olivia.
Yeah, he called her Magneto, which is kind of what you said last episode.
Right.
With, whatever you called it, the
electromagnetic fields. Yeah, absolutely. It was great.
Yeah.
So,
as far as the series wrap party like Jay and Jack did, that's definitely something that we have kicked around and we're very interested in doing. We need to find out when the finale is going to be, because to be honest with you, if it wraps on December 21st, like we've teased about, it's going to be a really hard day, just days before Christmas and stuff like that. So once we figure out when the finale is going to be, then we'll see if it's something we can swing and where it would be, what the details would be, and all that stuff. So that's just at this point. Let us say that that's something we're interested in doing, and we'll see if we can work something out.
Since Lost was shot in Hawaii and Fringe is shot in Vancouver,
right?
We should go to Hawaii.
I would love that. We might need a sponsor for that.
Hey, I'd just like to give out our PayPal information at this point. If you'd like to donate to our Fringe finale in Hawaii trip, please go on the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that mean we're going to get to see you in a banana hammock?
A mankini?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you go. That's all the motivation you need right there. If you want to see Clint in a banana hammock, visit the PayPal button on the website.
Here's the deal. This is the truth.
All right.
If we are able to do a Fringe season finale watch and our fans back us to go to Hawaii for it, I will let them vote on a song for me to sing while I'm in my Speedo.
Oh, my goodness.
I will sing. I will do it.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I have no shame, Darrell.
Apparently not.
I need to know soon, though, so I can start working out.
That's right.
And shaving. There's going to be a lot of shaving going on.
Oh, TMI. Let's see what Gene had to say.
Hey guys, it's Jean from Alabama, Blue Eagle in the chat, calling for the Fringe podcast, and we just got done watching the season finale, which was just absolutely incredible. And actually, my feeling is that we didn't see a season finale tonight. What we saw would have been the series finale if we hadn't got a season 5. It seemed to me really strange that the way that they showed Letters of Transit, and it just kind of ended, and there were so many unanswered questions, and there seemed to be so much more that needed to happen. Plus, we needed to wrap up the whole DRJ thing back in our own time, that there was just no way that we were going to be able to wrap it all up in 4 episodes. And so my feeling is that all of the guys at Fringe and at Fox knew when they aired Letters of Transit that they were going to get that season 5 and they were going to be able to finish out and flesh out that storyline. My only fear is that the season finale for this year is the happy ending that we were all hoping for, and I just hope that the end of season 5 doesn't result in a less happy ending. But I can't wait for the summer to end so that we can get started and find out exactly what happens in order to stop the observers who are coming. Thanks so much for another great season of watching Fringe, and I look forward to listening to you guys over the summer. Take care.
Me too.
You look forward to hearing us over the summer?
I look forward to hearing me over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And you, Darrell.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with her. I mean, it definitely had a lot of
touchy-feely moments.
Yeah, it felt like a series finale in a whole lot of ways. But I don't think that necessarily means that we won't get a nice, touchy-feely, happy, fluffy ending of the series. I think that they've set it up nicely where there is still a war at stake and a battle to be fought and won. And
absolutely
through that, give us a really fully satisfied, because we're still out there going, like, Angela called in and said, well, I'm still curious about the whole war thing and how I thought that was going to tie into Bell. So there's still definitely some questions that are out there to be answered and to get satisfaction from some resolution through those.
That's absolutely right. And you have to give the writer some credit at this point after taking us through the awesome absurdity of the last 2 to 3 seasons, where it's just been, we have absolutely no idea what's coming, but it's been such an enjoyable ride.
Yeah.
But they've always said, and they've always brought it back to the characters, right? They put these characters in these crazy, completely ridiculous circumstances, and it really exposes their vulnerability and their humanity. And I think that we have to give the writers credit to know that no matter what happens, what transpires next season, it's always been and will always be about these characters and about their relationships with one another.
Just like Lost.
Yep.
All right. I thought we disagreed on that with
What?
Lost, that it was always about the characters.
You thought we disagreed about what?
That Lost was always about the characters.
Well, it still remains to be seen. We got to find out what happens after the bomb goes off.
Okay, fine. Let's find out what happened when Keegan goes off.
This is Keegan from New Mexico, calling for the Fringe Podcast, and the finale just finished for me. I'm basically in shock right now, shock and awe right now. The episode ended, and a lot of the stuff I feel like we saw coming, it was almost predictable, but I didn't care. I loved it. Every moment of it was incredible, and it was just so emotional and such a trip. It's hard to even believe that was an hour long. It seems longer. It seems like there was so much in it, and it was so, so good. I'm not going to go over the specifics because I don't want to make this long, but specifically Olivia dying in the end and then telling Peter she's pregnant, I couldn't even handle it. We assumed those things would happen, but it was done so well. So I can't wait for next season. I'm so glad we have another season, and this is the best show since Lost. And I know one of you might disagree with that, but Lost is my favorite show, and this is now easily my second. It's just so incredible. So, episode was incredible. Love the podcast. I don't know. Go Fringe. Stay Fringe-tastic. Love it. Bye.
But I get a bad rap on Lost.
Well, it's ironic because you just said it right before we played his clip.
I said what?
That you're still waiting to find out
I know.
what happened when the bomb goes off.
I loved Lost.
Juliet dies.
Don't tell me that, Darrell. Don't you tell me that.
Actually, they all die, Clint.
Oh, gosh.
Everyone dies sometime, kiddo.
That's right. I have these repressed memories. I've been working through them with my therapist, and you keep bringing them back.
Oh, that's good. Your therapist is paying me to do that. I get a little portion of it that way. It keeps you in perpetual therapy.
Oh, my goodness. I loved Lost.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
I did too.
And that's why it hurt so bad when the ending was terrible.
Oh, my goodness. Let's not rehash that
Okay.
for the umpteenth millionth time. One of the things that I want to commend Keegan on is his point. I don't know that anyone else has brought it up, and that was that we knew that these things were coming. We knew that Olivia was going to reveal herself to be pregnant at some point. And some of these other plot lines that we knew were coming. We knew that September had to get shot at some point. And we probably knew that Olivia was going to get shot at some point. But yet, even though we knew those things were coming, the writers did such a good job of revealing those to us in very satisfying and creative and sometimes shocking ways that we didn't see coming, even though we knew that it was coming. And you got to tip your hat to the writers for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of thought that the beginning of last week's episode was I know that I'm pregnant, and maybe the nod that she is pregnant, right?
Right.
But it was still an emotional moment when it happened in this episode.
It was nice. The lady walked by with the urine samples, and Walter made the cool joke, but that was our clue that urine samples, that's how they detect you're pregnant a lot of times. And so that was kind of a tip that was about to come. I'll put it this way. I went and watched the Avengers yesterday.
Okay.
And there's a line in there where Captain America is telling a police officer what he needs to do to set a perimeter and rescue the people.
Right.
And as he's telling him that, the police officer is like,
Who
you
do
can
you
tell
think
he's
you are?
not,
Yeah.
And he
Giving me
says,
orders.
yeah, why should I do what you do? And I knew the response to that was going to be a witty one-liner.
Yeah.
And I was preparing myself to go, wah, wah. But they delivered it in such a way, even though I knew the witty one-liner was coming, it was still so good that I laughed out loud and was like, I'm so glad that they exceeded my expectation on that. And that's what we had here with this episode of Fringe. Even though I knew it was coming, it was better than what I thought.
Same with the Hulk scene in Loki, right?
Yes.
Wasn't that great?
It was so good.
He starts lecturing him.
Yes. Yeah.
Big
That was
payoff.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely worth going to see the Avengers if you haven't already.
Yes.
All right, let's move right along to Comed.
Guys, this is Comey from Savannah calling about the Fringe podcast for the Fringe episode, season 4 finale. Thought it was a really good episode. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, but I was a little disappointed with the reveal behind William Bell's plan. Kind of sucked that his motivation was just him having a god complex and being afraid of dying. I thought that was kind of cliche, and I would have preferred it if they went with him fighting a war against the observers. I thought that would have been grander and related more to the entire show. It just seemed random that he was just upset that he was dying, so he was mad at God. On another note, looks like Darrell will be eating some bananas because apparently Clint was right. Olivia did die. And off topic, but guys, thank you very much for recommending Lost with your constant Lost references. I just finished season 6 of Lost, did a 3-week marathon, and I have to agree with Clint. I do not understand what happened with that finale of Lost. For me, season 6 or the final episode did not happen. I think it ended in season 5. All right, guys, keep up the good work with the podcast, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Oh, it's funny. As you're talking, Clint and I are just giving it to each other back and forth
That's right.
on this. We had such a good time.
We do. I've finished all 3 of my bananas, Darrell. I believe you still have one left to go.
I do still have one left to go. I'll try to finish it. I'll try to finish it during the. I was going to say the twins. I'll try to finish it before then.
Okay.
I'll finish it before the podcast is over.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And not to harp on Lost again. But the thing about the final episode was that they had done such a good job of building to it all season. And and not only was, by the time you get to the end of the final episode, you realize that not only is the final episode terrible, but it also made the rest of the entire season that you wasted all your time with terrible.
I disagree.
Okay.
Anyway.
You can disagree.
All right. Go ahead. Thanks for calling in. Let's move on to Mary.
Hey guys, this is Mary Lee, Mary P. Lee 23 on Twitter, and this is my first feedback for the Fringe podcast about the season finale of season 4. And this is my first time I'm actually getting to organize all of my thoughts in one place before the podcast. So this episode was filled with tons of emotion, nearly every emotion under the sun. First of all, I was angry when Belle said it was Walter's idea, which I'm sure Walter had suggested it, but I don't want Walter blaming himself for Belle's crazy new world that he's creating, because Walter already had that huge moment of guilt when he realized what was happening to the Cortex Fang kids. And I'm hoping maybe in season 5 we'll get a face-off between Walter and Belle. Then in the episode, I was completely shocked that Olivia was shot. And then all of the emotion on Peter's face nearly had me in tears during that whole scene. It was very well executed by Joshua Jackson. And so it looks like Clint was right. Olivia did die, but she just didn't stay dead. So I'm interested to see how you guys do the banana bet. And it looks like we finally found out where the bullet that Etta wore around her neck came from. And of course, that little baby nugget's on its way. And I wonder if Walter knows that Olivia was being redosed with Cortexiphan this season. So I'm wondering if it means that all of her Cortexiphan then is not used up. So will she still have abilities in the next season? Will they just be less abilities? Like, can she still cross between universes to help them find Belle? And so I'm eager to see what's going to happen with the baby, if some of these abilities can still be passed on to the little baby nugget like we saw in the future. So that's all my feedback for the season finale of season 4. Peace out.
I hope she dropped the deuces when she was doing that. or flash the deuces.
Thrown up the deuces, Darrell.
Not drop them. That's a completely different thing. Okay, great feedback, Mary. Thanks for calling in. Welcome to the feedback show. A couple of things there. She talked about this face-off that she'd like to see between Belle and Bishop in season 5. Would you like to see that?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get it. But
you don't?
No, I really
wow.
don't.
I'd love to see that.
I don't think we're going to get it.
Do you think we'll see Belle in 5?
Yes, I do. But here's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
We know that Belle went somewhere, right?
Yeah.
We know that he has to be back at some point around 2016, right after the purge, because that's when he gets encased with Amber, with Walter. Right.
What if he zapped himself into the future right in that point, right when the Amber is solidifying? He's like, that's how his hand gets stuck out.
That'd be
there.
funny.
That would be funny.
Guys, I'm back.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So we know he has. So I guess, are you saying that because he's still frozen in the Amber that there can't be an ultimate showdown?
There could be an ultimate showdown, but he's missing a hand.
He is.
He's stuck in the Amber.
Right.
There doesn't need to be an ultimate showdown, right? They could just leave him in the Amber.
They could. Yeah. I don't know. I want some resolution to the Belle character. I still think there's a lot to be resolved there. I love what they gave us in this episode, but I'd love to see some more of the Belle character. That's ultimately what I'd like to see as a real good resolution, and I'd love to see Belle get what he deserves.
Which Belle?
The only Belle that we have right now.
So let me ask you another question.
All right.
This is an absurd question brought about by season 4, but
okay.
What we saw in Letters of Transit, is that the future from this timeline?
I don't think we have any way of knowing at this point, but I think it's safe to...
What would be your guess?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the future they're trying to prevent.
Right.
And so if they prevent that, then who's to know if Belle ever ends up in Amber?
It'll be a different parallel universe at that point.
Yeah. Pretty crazy stuff. As far as the Cortexiphan goes, the more I think about it, Walter really needs to take her to the lab and run some tests on her before he can just say that she doesn't have Cortexiphan in her body anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he's theorizing while he's in the waiting room waiting for her to finish self-healing and be released.
I don't even know why he would have said that.
I know.
He should have said, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's check stuff out.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
Let's move on to Dan.
Hello, Fringe Podcast. This is Dan from Virginia. No relation to Charlie from Virginia. Just calling in about the season finale. It was a fantastic episode. I give it 9.9s. You guys can do the math. Thought everything was great, and one thing that I really noticed was when Nina was talking to Olivia in the helicopter. All season, we've thought that the Wizard of Oz theme was related to Peter and his journey, but Nina told Olivia, "You've had this ability all the time." It was so Wizard of Oz, with Glenda telling Dorothy, "You've had the power the whole time." It's like information that would have been useful to me yesterday. But anyway, thought it was great. Happy ending and a cliffhanger. Great stuff. You guys do a great job. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you later. Out.
What were you saying during that feedback?
I said amazing.
No, I'm pretty sure you said lame.
Lame?
Not referring to Dan's feedback.
Are you really just going to do that to me? It was not. It was certainly not to Dan's feedback at all. I was just saying that scene to me was lame.
Right.
But again, Dan brings up a good point. It was a tie-in to Wizard of Oz, which we've seen throughout the show.
Throughout the show is exactly right. The series as a whole.
And that's why that scene didn't work for me. I mean, it was like this. It was like all of these lines intersecting to the scene, and the acting, they just tried to do too much for me. And you don't agree.
I know. We're just going to disagree on that, and that's fine.
And then it ruined the episode for me. I just didn't like that one scene.
Yeah.
But it was a good point that Dan brings up.
I love the point. Thank you, Dan. All right, let's move on to Jason.
Clint and Darrell, this is Jason, a.k.a. Scenario 2, calling in from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm thrilled to be leaving feedback for the first time about Brave New World Part 2, which I thought was fantastic. I was a bit disappointed to read elsewhere that some folks were underwhelmed or whatever else about this episode, but I felt that the finale would have been a more than suitable series finale, especially given the number of questions that I felt had answers given to them. Fortunately, we don't have to call this a series finale, and we'll be back next year, obviously. I'll say that Olivia's death was not unexpected, and the regenerative properties of cortexiphan were slightly less than discreetly foreshadowed in the penultimate episode. But that said, the courage and brilliance that Walter had to show was dramatic and heart-wrenching, and I think that because the viewers could have been satisfied with the outcome had Olivia lived or died, permanently, that is. What a great sequence when Walter had to take control, get Peter's attention, and then act. Wonderful. In my opinion, the greatest scene of the whole series. And now that we've seen the future in Letters of Transit, we all have a unique perspective as viewers with which to measure expectation, and the illustrious writers have given us all preconceptions from which to launch the unexpected, and that's really all that I expect. As far as my only grief with the episode, and the season encompassing the alternative timeline in general, I am left a bit dissatisfied as to whether or not that's resolved. I suppose that in September's explanation a few episodes back, I found dissatisfaction as well that Peter was already home, so to speak. If he is, and the blue opening sequence rolls this fall, I'll just have to accept it. But I'll gain a little bit of satisfaction back if Amber persists and Letters of Transit is the alternate future only. My guess is that we'll find out for sure. I expect the final 13 episodes to be extraordinary, non-stop excitement, and without a doubt, something we haven't thought of. Thanks again for your time and attention, and I hope that the Grizzlies and Thunder meet again in the NBA playoffs, this time for the chance to go to the finals. Until then, I hope that Olive doesn't have too much trouble in this reality with virally medicated preeclampsia. Remember, the only cure is delivery. Cheers.
That's what it was called. The preeclampsia thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's some good feedback. Thank you, Jason, for calling in. Welcome to the feedback show.
So if Etta is born prematurely
Mm-hmm.
and she's got cortexiphan in her, she might just heal herself into full maturity outside of the womb. Just saying.
That would be strange. Yeah. What do you think on that? Do you think that they're going to expedite the delivery or the pregnancy in any way? Or will Etta be born on the series finale?
Here's what I think.
Okay.
I think that this was a wrap.
Okay.
Now, they had planned on, they had planned for the possibility of wrapping the show here.
Right.
Like we've already talked about. And there are still some things that I would have liked answers to, but I think it would have been a relatively satisfying ending to the show. I think next season, I don't know that we'll be back to real time. I think that we're going to be in 2015, 2016 at around the time of the Purge, and then we may see
flashbacks.
I think we'll see flash forwards even from that point into 2036.
Okay.
There might be some flashbacks. Maybe we'll get the episode from an observer's perspective as he's coming in and out of these different timelines.
That'd be kind of cool. I think the thing that we could probably agree on is that they're probably going to need to give us some storyline that's set in 2012, some storyline that's set in 2036, and in all likelihood, some storyline that's set in 2016 when the Purge happens. And they've only got 13 episodes to do it, so they've got a long way to go and a short time to get there, but they're going to do what they say can't be done.
Yeah. I like that, I guess.
Smokey and the Bandit?
What?
Come on.
No. I've only seen Smokey and the Bandit like 15 times.
Give me your man card right now.
Smokey and the Bandit is not a man show.
What?
Isn't that the one with Sally Field in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds. Jerry Reed.
Burt Reynolds' chest hair.
I got a long way to go and a short time to get there. We're going to do what they say can't be done.
Ba-dam-dam-dam.
And I hope that the Grizzlies and the Thunder meet as well. Just because we've had better success against the Grizz this season than we have the Spurs this season. And so I would rather face the Grizzlies than the Spurs. And it should be a good series. We had a great series with them last year.
Yes. I'm getting questions about a flash sideways.
You don't know what that is, do you? That happened in the 6th season of Lost, Clint. That you think
flash
sideways?
Exist.
Yes. All right, Jason, thanks for calling in. Let's move on to Fool Me Once.
Hey, Clint and Darrell, this is Fool Me Once. I can't believe the season is over. Man, it feels like I was just submitting feedback for the premiere. In that feedback, I speculated whether all of the characters would have to be actualized in order for the plot to move forward. And among the reasons I am thankful that this was not the case, The one that tops my list is the fact that we avoided having to listen to Clint complain about the unmentionable season of Lost. Anyway, holy killshot dudes. I was having major flashbacks to the day we died. I was seriously panicking. Even though I knew that regeneration would happen, there was still this little piece of me that wondered if we'd get to see it this season. I'm recording this a mere hour and a half after the episode ended. My iTunes copy won't download for another 8.5 hours, and I'm seriously debating whether to overdose on NyQuil in order to quiet down my brain until that blessed hour arrives. But before I fall into reckless abandonment, I wanted to say some really inconsequential things. The development of Olivia's powers was fairly well drawn out. She first used them in episode 14, and they reared in a different way by episode 21, so a good 7-episode arc occurred while she was actively thinking about them, and then culminated into action during the part 1 of the finale. What I didn't appreciate was how late in the game Nina's comment came when they were in the helicopter and she said something about Olivia always having the ability and never knowing it. Why didn't all of that occur right after her kidnapping? I guess when your memories begin merging with yourself from a different timeline, that sort of takes precedence over the ability to turn on lights and cause a power surge with your mind. I don't know. Just seems like when we recognize genius abilities in non-cortexified humans, such as public speaking or playing an instrument, we don't discourage or downplay it in others, we capitalize on it. Being a Fringe team, it's just funny that they didn't think that, or they didn't decide that it was a good thing that Olivia had powers until pretty much this episode. That being said, once she realized all she had to do was trust her instincts and manipulate reality, the simple things, she knew she could break any barrier. Whether it was the universes or the concept of space, she was ready, no matter what the cost. When Bell returns next season, and yeah, I do believe he will return, it will be curious to see how his game plan changes. Clearly, he only wanted Olivia as a power source in this scenario, so my money is on him attempting to harness her brain power in a different way next year, in a more unforgivable way, in a way more indicative of nanites that are targeting the biokinetic energy of humans on a cellular level. Anyway, thanks for all the hard work you guys do. Another awesome season of the Fringe Podcast, and I can't wait for another 26 more, plus, the extras. This is Fool Me Once saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and we're all probably going to die.
Man, you are just playing right into the listeners' hands today. It's hilarious.
Just getting sucked in.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to say anything else, so I can't do it anymore. Mm-hmm. Of course, the next call will be like, Clint gets real pouty. I know how pouty Clint gets when listeners disagree with him.
That would be pretty funny. Gosh, so much to unpack there in that feedback. She talked about, Olivia just kind of now coming into her powers and maybe the slower progression of getting there. Is that kind of how you're feeling about that too?
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice arc for her to kind of slowly grow and to use her powers, which I liked. Like I said, I'm a little disappointed that was all that we got. I wanted Olivia Dunham superhero.
You know what I wanted? I would like to see, and we still may get this, but you remember when we saw Olivia at the end of last season, before she was shot between the eyes by Walternate?
The end of last season, before she was shot. Right, exactly.
Yeah. She was able to telekinetically control the box that fell off the...
Exactly. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the stuff that happened between now and then.
So still have the Cortexiphan, but have her being able to control it rather than it controlling her.
Yes.
I'd find a whole lot of satisfaction in that.
Me too.
And we still may get there. The door is cracked open for that.
Yep.
So we'll see about that. Gosh, there was another point that she mentioned that I was going to comment on. Oh. It was about Bell. Is he going to go back and try to get Olivia as a power source again? Is he still going to be out there trying to create his own universe? Do you think we've seen the last of him trying to manipulate her in that way?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we do have to.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think they're going to go. I don't think that we're going to repeat a story arc.
No, I don't either. Like they did with this season, right?
Well,
I mean, and it wasn't a repeat. It was just a reinvention of it.
Yeah, and I think that's what we would see is it may be something similar, but it wouldn't be a direct repeat. Right. And I don't think that she's suggesting that either.
Sure.
But
yep, I agree.
We'll see what happens. All right, move right along to Josh.
Hi, this is Josh from Maine, calling in for the Fringe Podcast. I go by Better with Bacon in the chat room. I'm going to go ahead and call today before the show. The show's on tonight because I want to agree with Darrell. And I want to go ahead and leave this message now, so when I look like a genius, later on we'll all know that I did it without seeing the episode. So I'm going to go ahead and back Darrell up on a very controversial topic, and that is that Olivia is still alive. So my first point is the bullet that we see in Letters of Transit is way too obvious. They show it to us a lot. And if that's a standalone episode, then the bullet's genius because it shows us that Olivia's dead without ever having to say it. But as time goes on, I really don't think that's a standalone episode. So I think that bullet's there really to kind of throw us off. Second point is that September's statement about how Olivia must die or Olivia has to die in every timeline, that's very ambiguous because with the observers, we've seen them say things and they're really obscure about what they say, or they say it and we think they're saying one thing and, you know, they mean something else. I just don't understand how Olivia has to die in every single timeline. So I really wouldn't base anything on that. And my third is that we saw the lemon cake heal. And I know that Clint says that it's kind of just a throwaway thing, but I think it's important. I think they wanted us to see the effects of cortexiphan. Now, I noticed that William Bell was looking very young, and it could be his Justin Bieber haircut. However, I think he's using cortexiphan, and I think it reverses the aging process. However, if Olivia's had it since she was a kid, or had it used on her as a child, then I think maybe it makes it so she doesn't get older as fast. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw out the theory that she's the one who puts them in amber, and she's going to go ahead living and not really age. So when they come out of the amber, she won't look like she's aged that much, even though she is older. That's just a theory, but I'm going to go ahead and agree with Darrell. So that's it. I can't wait for the episode tonight. I think it's kind of going to be like sitting down in front of God and being able to ask him anything you want. I'm going to have all my questions answered, every single one of them. So that's it, guys. I can't wait for the episode. So this is Josh signing out saying, no matter what universe you are in, A Knight's Tale is not a good movie on any level. Peace out.
That may be the best sign-off ever.
All right, let's address that first. I forgot that was coming. We're in the middle of a Ridley Scott trilogy right now in our Triplecast podcast, and clearly Josh has listened to that. I simply said, and I like A Knight's Tale. I said it was a guilty pleasure.
No backpedaling.
I'm not backpedaling, but what I said in the podcast was that it was another example of really great, unique costuming. And it's funny, we've gotten so much feedback on that. We have people who are taking my corner, people who are taking your corner. I'm not sure which corner Josh is falling into. I think the wrong corner.
The right corner. It is a terrible movie. Speaking of which, though, you know, Josh was right and wrong.
He was right and wrong, yeah.
And so, you know, I think it was interesting that he mentioned sitting down in front of God and having a conversation based on
I know, given what William Bell said.
Comments. But yeah, she definitely died.
She's definitely alive.
She's definitely alive, at least right now.
And William Bell did say that he cortexiphaned himself in order to extend his life.
Right.
And so for Josh to say that the cortexiphan might give Olivia this youthfulness that will allow her to age, you know, at a slower rate than the rest of them, that makes that's now possible. Or I don't know that I'll say it's probable, but it certainly is possible given what we saw William Bell doing with it in the last episode.
Maybe she's taken so much of it that it causes her to age in reverse, and she changes her name to Henrietta in the future.
Like Benjamin Button? It'd be Henrietta Button?
Yeah, that could be it.
Cute little baby Button.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Josh, for calling in. Let's move on to Dirac6955.
Hey, this is Dirac6955. Hey, guys, how you doing? That was a fantastic season finale. Hey, I just read the fantastic Fringe post-mortem on TVGuide.com, and very, very tail end of the story, the very, very end, it finally answered the question about Mr. X. And I can't believe this. After being wrong so many times this season, finally I got one right. Mr. X was actually Bell. I can't believe it. And it was the nanites, the X on the nanites, just like the X on the guy's t-shirt. It was the nanites. They manifested as a man in Olivia's mind while she was in Bell's mind and represented Bell. Well, maybe I was only half right, but it's still cool. Mr. X has been revealed, finally. Man, got so much closure in this episode. I can't wait till the next season. It's going to be terrific. And I sure hope we see more of Leonard. Leonard was just... I don't have the words. He is the best actor ever. Well, maybe next to John Noble. And seeing both of those guys in one scene, that was fantastic, man. Just can't wait till next season. Hey, good luck with the podcasting, and I hope y'all keep it up this summer. And if y'all happen to start up a second podcast to do like a replay, I'm there, man. Have a great summer.
It's funny. That's the second Chip also mentioned. If we did, we're doing one. So that's cool. Yep.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live with Bill O'Reilly.
Speaking of live, you want to tell him? Now is a great time to tell him about it.
The rewatch?
Yeah,
sure. We're doing the summer rewatch. It's going to start a week from. Let me pull up my calendar again here. I shut it down.
May
thinking
26th.
I wouldn't need it. May 26th. I have no short term.
Not a week from. It's going to be May 26th.
May 26th.
Tentatively, depending on Fox's schedule for the fall.
Yeah, which we should find out tomorrow, May 14th. Right. We're recording this on May 13th. But we are going to be watching about 4 hours or 4 episodes a week, and then coming together on a community conference call on Skype each Saturday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and talking about the episodes that we watched that week. It'll be kind of a water cooler type of call. If you're interested in participating in the call, send us an email over at feedback@thefringepodcast.com. Please use subject summer rewatch and just let me know that you're interested in doing it. I'm going to limit it to a maximum of 5 callers each week so that we don't get this madness of everyone trying to talk over each other, and that would just not be good. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to start with the pilot and finish up with Brave New World Part 2. I'm going to watch all 4 seasons, getting ready for season 5.
That's right.
And here's the thing: if you don't have the DVDs or the Blu-rays, go over to thefringepodcast.com. Right there on the sidebar, there's a link over to our Amazon affiliate, and they've got some really good pricing on those, so you can go get them from Amazon, and we'll get a little commission for that.
That's right. They're also available on iTunes.
Yep, they are. I wish they'd make them available on Netflix.
I know. That'd be great.
That would be great.
All right. I guess to get back to Direct's 6955's other comment, I'm glad that you're finally right. This is the first time I think that Darrell's been right this season as well. So
as I was listening to him, he said, "I can't believe it." After being wrong so much, I thought his next words were going to be Darrell finally got
something right,
but he gave it up to himself instead.
That's good,
which is completely fine. But I cried a little inside. Yeah, I thought I was going to get some credit.
All right.
That's all right. All right, one more feedback for this podcast, and this one comes in from Theresa.
Hi, Clint. Hi, Darrell. This is Theresa calling from Annapolis, Maryland. I'm going to submit this feedback via my Gmail account in hopes that it doesn't get tangled in Darrell's spam filter the way a comment of mine did earlier this season. I'm calling because I think it's time to appoint myself your consulting neuroscientist. Actually, Fringe could use a consulting neuroscientist. This season we've had rapid functional restoration following injection of pureed Walter brain, which was a real eye roller, and the use of pig brain to reveal decades-old fingerprints. And, of course, all of this is to say nothing of Cortexiphan. Anyway, I nearly called in to offer my services earlier this season when Clint said axions when he was referring to axons. This time I just had to do it when Clint confused the hippocampus with the hypothalamus. The hippocampus is in the forebrain, and it's vital to certain kinds of memory function. The hypothalamus is located in the midbrain. It controls a number of homeostatic functions, including body temperature. So that's what Clint was referring to. Thanks for a great podcast, guys. And remember, sometimes brains are more trouble than they're worth.
That is so true, man. Ouch.
I got to say, I'm not even intelligent enough to sound unintelligent on these matters. That's why you cover them.
You know what? It's so funny. I've been worried since our first podcast that I was going to call in and I was going to get something wrong.
Uh-huh.
Somebody smarter than me was going to call in.
Yeah.
And I think to a large extent, this is the first time that's happened. It's taken the end of the 4th season for that to happen. So I appreciate you. I can't believe I said axions. Certainly was a slip of the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not surprised that I confused the hypothalamus and hippocampus. That sounds like something I would totally do.
I can't even pronounce either one of those.
Because I don't work with those anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't use your brain anymore?
I
Is that
don't.
what you're
Not at all.
saying?
As you can tell, my my temperature and metabolic regulation have somewhat gone the way of the buffalo. I'm sweating a lot and I'm fat, Darrell. That's what I was saying.
I wasn't sure what you were
Okay.
saying, and I certainly wasn't going to speculate.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Theresa, for calling that in. I've listened to that one, I think, 4 times now, and I have laughed every time.
Guest 2022 in the chat room says, "Ha, Clint didn't know the never mind."
See, that's the exact same way I am. Like I said, I'm not even intelligent enough to sound unintelligent on things like that.
That's right.
I just know to stay away. So.
Shukriya is reminding me that my wang didn't stop the boogie earlier this season. So, man.
Enough about Clint's wang.
On that note, I'm out.
Let's move on to Twinge.
Oh my goodness.
You have a lot of twinges
We got a lot
today?
of feedback today.
Is that right?
So.
Well, I sent out the twinge question, and I believe I ended it with saying, please, everyone, all 4,300 and whatever of you that follow us on Twitter, please respond, because Clint loves reading all of these. And I think they did.
I did get a lot, although I don't see your question. Did you use the hash mark TFP twinge?
I think I was doing it on my phone as I was stopped at a red light. Yeah. And I think I think it put a space between the hash mark and the TFP twinge. Okay. So if you're looking for the hash mark, you won't find my question.
So Darrell, what was the question?
The question was, what do you hope to see from season 5?
All right. Agent Fringe says, I want to see Lincoln.
That's it. Yep. Want to see Lincoln? I would like to see Lincoln as well.
Gabrielle Rimac says, Olivia giving birth to Edda and Peter being there. Just as the family's all together when Edda is a baby.
Okay.
Bronco Tom says a whole lot of the Bishop family doing Fringe things together before they leave us for good. I can agree with that.
Like a Bishop family revival.
Or reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Or religion.
Reunion, that's what I meant to say, not revival.
Well, the episode was called Bishop Family Revival.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bishop Revival, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, I don't think Famo is in there.
Yeah. Toxic Crusader says, I want to see a continuation of the 2036 storyline along with a bridging episode from 2012-2015 and an Observer Origins episode.
I like all that. I'd love to see all that too.
3. Raggedy Observer says, Walter and Astrid out in the field. September working with the Fringe team. Olivia wedding with the Fringe event Charlie.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting.
Yep.
Bad Wobot says, Liv and team crossing to and back the alternate universe to work together versus Bad Belly and his minions. No bad observers.
Okay.
Lemon Eyes says, I want to see Walter and Astrid of seasons 1 through 3. I want a show that has continuity with seasons 1 through 3. I want promises kept. Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay. Whimsy Moon says, want to see if season 4 was worth it story-wise. Season 3 had such a great promise. Did Belle really get that crazy from a lack of Peter?
Okay.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Origin 321 says, I want season 5 to begin where Letters of Transit ended.
Oh, okay.
I think that's an interesting take.
Uh-huh.
Shukriya 2 says, the red verse, including Scarly and Bug Girl, and Walter eating some bananas as a shout-out to you.
That would be pretty funny.
I've got a strange craving for bananas. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Or maybe he and Peter put a banana bet on something.
That would be awesome.
That would be. Then we know it's a true shout out to
That's
our
right.
podcast. Because who else bets in bananas?
Nobody.
Yeah,
just us. We almost did watermelons. Do you remember that? That would have been terrible.
Yeah, that
trying
would
to
have been
eat
messy.
an entire watermelon while we're doing the podcast.
Banana is much better.
Devin H says it would be nice to see an episode set in the future, not 2036, but 2609 when the observers trash the planet.
Okay,
very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Season Zine says more William Bell, more information about the observers, more Henry Ian Cusack, lots of time jumping, and a little Edda. Karamakin says more bananas.
I'm bananaed out for now, thanks.
Yeah, I think me too. Burbank says in season 5, I want to see anything that makes September smile. I think that's what Etta should try and do. She should walk up to September and be like, get you goo. Get you goo. And him go, I am feeling a strange sensation of laughter. No, that would have been terrible. Music Man T says, I want to see more 2023 in a battle between the Fringe division and Observers. I wouldn't mind if most of the season was in the future. Foxy AMF says, I want much more of the Observers, which fortunately it looks like we're getting. More Astrid wouldn't hurt either.
Okay, I like that.
Nightstar 12 says, I want to see coming of the Observers in 2015 and how our Fringies end up in Amber. Oh, and the birth of Etta.
Okay.
Nina 267 says, preventing Observer takeover in 15, defeating them in 36. More of everything that makes Fringe so awesome. Happy ending for the whole family. Techno Mage 500 says, flash forward to the final 13 episodes. Show the Observer War. Then we get flashbacks to the wedding and the birth of Etta. That'd be a nice finale, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit of time jumping. Engine 314159 says, the flying porcupines to be rescued from the cryo with the option of returning to human form and more Redverse.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
You do kind of feel bad for those people who thought that they were
helping.
Yeah. And now they're frozen in cryo.
Yes. Ebony Jet 7 says, I want to see ZFT resolved.
Uh-huh.
And Peter defeat/neutralize the shapeshifter threat. And Newton make a brief return. Monkey Summer says, I want to see Darrell eat a lot of bananas.
I invalidate that.
You know what, Darrell? I will bet you a banana bet that you will eat more bananas next season.
Not taking that bet.
That's a paradox.
Yes.
Whimsy Moon says, I want to see if season 4 really was worth it story-wise. Yeah, we already got that one, so I don't know why it's repeated. Mailman Matt says, Observers everywhere.
Okay.
Trivial Matter says, I'd like to see Bell get what's coming to him. Suspect they'll be getting a Redverse like HQ for the Fringe division.
Yeah, with all that funding now.
Yep. Belly of Pie says, I want to see the Redverse. Tyrone storyline needs to continue.
Nice.
Also, what happened to the captured Nina and Broyles.
Uh-huh.
TMB Shelley says, I want to see as much interaction between Peter, Walter, Olivia, and Astrid as they can pack in one episode. Cortexatron says, I like to see season 5 start a couple years from now, right before the purge. Etta can be around without having to show Olivia's pregnancy. Plus, that way we can make a quicker jump to the future to fight the new Observers.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Zeppelin Driver says, would like to see Olivia fitted with a superhero outfit with the cape and, of course, maybe some tights. Darth TM says, the implications of Bell's work and the connection with the Observer invasion and resolution thereof. Lost Weather Guy saying, see what Bell knows of the Observers, what's behind ZFT. Is seasons 1 through 3 events an old timeline a factor in Observer's War? That's an interesting question. And then Fate of the Redverse. Bomi Once says, number 1, birth of a child. Number 2, Bell creates the Observers by harnessing Olivia's brain power. Number 3, jumps between present and 2036. Yes, that'll do. That'll do, Pig. That'll do.
That'll do, Pig, yeah. Is that Babe?
Yes.
Babe
nice,
reference?
hey. Cinewolf 23 says, Redverse and Scarly, Belly's Fate, Observer Mayhem. Olivia gets all her memories together. Great character scenes and a happy ending.
Okay.
Dana Friend says, if we're in the future, I hope Olivia is still young like the others, but either way, just plenty of Olivia. Kai Moyer says, the return of Mole Rat Boy. That is the one thing I'm hoping does not happen in season 5.
What happens if Mole Rat Boy, what do we do if Mole Rat Boy ties into the whole thing?
I think we both eat a banana.
A banana?
A banana.
All right, deal.
And then puke it up.
I'd rather keep it down.
Okay. Observers. Let's try Zero Fights. 2060 something when team of observers are first formed.
Okay.
Gene-centric episode. Finale snapshots of events for season 6 and 7. I think that last part's invalidated.
Yep, afraid so.
Supiro says, I want a few main characters to die next season.
Oh.
I feel the stakes are higher than they've ever been. Mary Plea 23 says, in season 5, I want to see more Astrid kicking butt and having sweet licorice moments with Walter and a Walter Bell face-off.
I like that.
Biocheem says more on the observers and what those with month names were trying to do.
Okay. I like that. I like to see that too.
Nathaniel, etc. says, well, we totally just watched something written as a series finale with an epilogue, so anything would be awesome. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
RVL111 says, I want to see Olivia open up a daycare with all the Fringe kids. Think about it. It could be a great spinoff.
I could see that.
Yes. Olivia's Cortexiphen Daycare.
I'd rather see Farnsworth PI.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Dun,
dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Ba, ba, da, ba, da. Okay.
That'll be
that'll
be all pig.
That'll do pig. All right, and finally, Miss Kira Ann says, I'd love to see how the observers take over. What is going to happen to the Redverse? They should reopen the bridge.
It'll be. I want to see something resolved in the Redverse. Okay. Well,
I honestly, I don't think we're going to get anything from the Redverse. I think that storyline's done.
Okay. So Seth is off the show.
Seth's off the show.
Okay.
Honestly, I do not think if we spend any time in the current timeline, in present, quote, present time, it's going to be few and far between. I think it's going to be mostly future episodes.
You know, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we're done with the Redverse either. From a logistical point of view, thinking that they only have 13 episodes left and they've got all this storyline to resolve, they have found a way to cut the storyline in half, in a sense, and help bring resolution to really the meat of the storyline, which is always focused around the Blue universe. So, with that in mind, I could totally see, and Lincoln wasn't a part of the original storyline either,
right?
So they've kind of pared it back down to what they started with,
right,
and resolved this puppy.
Me too. And I think, although you could argue that the story is about the characters, it's really about the observers. So getting resolution on the observers would be fantastic.
The observers have always been a critical part of it.
Yeah.
If you look at the credits, the opening credits from day one, the hidden Easter egg in the opening credits from day one, observers are here.
Yep.
So that's definitely a big part of it.
I agree.
All right.
All right.
Wow. Lots of good stuff this week with the Twinge.
It was fantastic. And I hope you guys enjoy your summer. We'll be doing it live with the Fringe Summer Rewatch and a couple of our other podcasts. We're going to be doing Cutting the Cable, Dad Hacker. May get a couple of Portable Orchard episodes in, as well as Cutting the Cable. Did I already say that? And Triple Cast is what I'm really trying to think of. So
definitely.
Anyways,
so stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter at Fringe Observers. We talk about all of our stuff over there, not just the Fringe stuff. And, of course, our Facebook.com/Golden Spiral Media. That's the best way to keep connected with all the stuff we have going on this summer.
That's right. Darrell, what other Fringe podcasts do we have planned for the summer in the not-too-distant future?
Well, we have the rewatch, which we've already talked about.
Right.
We have the feedback, which I'm not sure when we will record that. The deadline for doing that for sending in your feedback is May the 20th at noon Eastern time. We may go ahead and do that next Sunday. We may not. We'll have to figure that out. But we also have the comic book podcasts that we'll be doing at some point this summer.
Right.
And Comic Con podcast that we'll be doing this summer while we're at Comic Con.
That's right.
Anything else I'm leaving out there on that?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we'll do a more normal style podcast before season 5 starts, just kind of a summary of season 4 and what we're hoping for season 5.
Yeah, that's our tradition as well.
Yep.
So hopefully you guys will be joining us this summer as we trek through all of this stuff, Fringe and movie and technology-related stuff that we enjoy so much. And we're really appreciative of all you guys do to be a part of the community over here with Golden Spiral Media and Fringe. It certainly has been exceeded our expectations when we started this podcast 4 years ago. You know, the Olympics are coming up this summer. We started the podcast. Our first group podcast was the night of the opening Olympics.
That's right.
That's pretty cool to see it 4 years later.
Yes.
So,
all right, Darrell.
We gave the call number if you want to call the feedback in is 304-837-2278. That works for all of our podcasts.
That's true.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
I'm going to miss you guys.
I'll still be here, Clint.
Okay.
Is that all you need?
Until next time.
Stay Fringe-tastic.
Keep it nerdy.
The Fringe Podcast and Golden Spiral Media are not associated with Bad Robot Productions, Warner Brothers, or Fox. Golden Spiral Media's use of any and all copyrighted material is only for parody, news analysis, critique, and for educational purposes as provided within United States Code Title 17, aka Fair Use. Copyright 2012, Golden Spiral Media.
We have to tell them. Season 5 of Fringe is coming.